that I'd like to introduce right now that I was able to meet about 8-9 months ago. And this person actually was a self-made millionaire by the age of 23 years old. He started his first car lot at the age of 19 years old, so this person knows business. You know, there were some things that happened in life. I mean, the downturn in the economy and certain things happened, but when he found Javita, it gave him a new opportunity. What I'd like to do is bring Mr. Blake Chrisman to the front of the room to share his own Javita story. So Blake, if you come on up, give him a warm round of applause.
It's good to be up here. Good to be up here on Monday night after an awesome Sunday night event in Miami. We had a huge turnout, a huge party. Had huge parties up in Virginia. Just a great time. I'll share with you a little bit about my story. I went to a university in Palm Beach called Palm Beach Atlantic University on a full-ride scholarship when I was 18 years old. And about a year into it, I decided that I was wasting my time. I was majoring in entrepreneurship. I had that entrepreneurial spirit, and I knew what I wanted to do. And so I moved back from West Palm Beach to Orlando, and I opened up my first car dealership when I was 19 years old. It just took off. It was right in the middle of the real estate boom. Everything was going good. The banks were loaning money, and we were just cruising at a high speed. And I got married, and by 22 years old, my wife and I celebrated the birth of our first daughter. And we had moved into our dream home, $1.2 million house that we had built in Lake Mary, Florida. 5 acres land behind the iron gates. We had the cars, the boats, the condo in West Palm Beach. Everything that you could ever dream of in life. And at 22, 23 years old, I was sitting back thinking, man, this is what life's all about. I did it. And then the fall, financial fall of 2008, 2009 came, and let me tell you something, it came crashing down. It came crashing down real fast, and it came crashing down real hard. As fast as I went up, I went faster down. I'll tell you what, it's a bad feeling when more than one repo truck shows up at your house. Yeah, and I'll never forget the day, and I tell you this to kind of tell you what brought me to this point here. I had my security guard call me from my dealership, and about 2 o'clock in the morning, he said, "Boss, you better run down to the dealership." And I said, "What's wrong?" He said, "There's tow trucks here." But by the time I had got from my house to the dealership, they were towing the last car off my car lot. The bank had pulled my floor plan, had pulled my credit, and I'll never forget, I was sitting there with tears running down my face in the middle of this huge, beautiful dealership without a car on it, looking around going, you know, what just happened? And that was it. And shortly after that, I packed my wife and kids up, and we moved to Sarasota, Florida. That was about 3 years ago. And we moved in with my mother and my stepfather at the time. And we were penniless, didn't know what we were going to do, and spent the last couple of years just doing odd jobs, doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but I was lost. I was really lost. I didn't know what we were going to do. You know, I couldn't, the banks had stopped lending. An entrepreneurial spirit was great, but if you didn't have anybody to go to for the funding to start another business, you know, you were spinning your wheels. And things got a little worse, actually. Last year, on a good note, my wife found out that she was pregnant with our third child, which was a great thing, but I had no idea how we were going to do it. I said, you know, this is like the worst thing that could possibly happen right now. I'm sorry to say that. And I'll never forget my mother saying, you know, well, there's no great time. Maybe this will be a positive thing in your life that'll turn things around, you never know. And I've never shared this with anybody else, but I named my daughter Alexis Faith. And I named her middle name because I knew it was going to take a lot of faith to get through it. So needless to say, shortly after that, my stepfather passed away. And it was just a horrible, horrible experience. He was my best friend. My mom and him had been together for 13 years. We were a very close-knit family, especially living together, because we were kind of trying to bring everything combined income-wise and try and get through this period in our lives, and then all of a sudden, you know, bam, something like that happens. And it just, you know, it hit me at my knees. And like I said earlier, I was lost. I was lost personally. I had lost who I was. I had lost touch with myself. And shortly after that, we had another event that struck tragedy into our lives. We had a fire, and we lost everything at our home. We lost everything. And we were literally into a 2-bedroom condo that, thank God, we were able to find. But me, my wife, our kids, baby on the way, and my mother, who just lost her husband, all in this little apartment. And I'll tell you, it's an ironic feeling when you don't have nothing. You're riding the bus, and you used to have, look out on your car line, you used to have 150, 200 cars out there, and now you're on a bus because we didn't have a car. And needless to say, my daughter was born on October the 2nd, and shortly after that, we had a life-changing experience. And I got a call from my wife right after around Christmas time, and she said, your mom just joined a coffee company. And I said, what? She goes, yeah. She goes, we got a shipment of like $500 worth of coffee at the front door this morning. And I was out of town working a job that week, just trying to pick up a week's worth of pay. And I'm like, are you serious? And she said, yeah. I said, well, I don't know what we're going to do now, because that was rent money. That's how bad it was. Well, I tell you what, she made a great decision, because about 3 weeks later, I had noticed that she was losing weight, and my wife was losing her baby weight. And I was like, well, you know what, maybe this stuff really works. It's not like everything else. It's never worked, you know? And so I said, you know what, let's take this and let's run with it together, because my mom and I had worked in business before. She had done my financing, retail financing, when I had my dealership. So we worked together, good together as a team. We knew that. And we kind of took it and ran with it. And I can tell you that anybody can do it, because we did it from home with no car, riding the bus to meetings, asking rides from friends. We did it all, and in 8 short months, I went from my wife looking at me with our kid in her arm going, what are we going to do, to just this past Saturday, I got to take her and my daughter to go get their nails done. And I remember looking over at my wife, when we were riding around in my mom's new convertible that she got thanks to Javita. And I remember riding around in the convertible, we were pulling out of the nail shop, and I looked at her and I said, boy, it's just a good feeling to know that I can take you guys to get your nails done, and we can go out to lunch now, and I don't have to worry about it. And I was overwhelmed with joy. And in 8 months, we've been able to reach the position of manager 2. We're currently earning around $5,000 to $6,000 a month. We should be well over the $10,000 a month mark by the end of the year. We should reach diamond by the end of this year or sooner. And it's been just a joyful experience. I mean, it really has changed our lives completely, taken us from a really bad place and then depression and losing everything to, you know, last night when Bill Ball and I came back from our trip to Miami, my mom was sitting there looking at all the alerts on the computer. And every time a new member comes in the organization, it sends you an email alert. And she walked out, and my wife and I are sitting on the back porch, and she goes, this is happening. She goes, it's happening. We found the right thing. We did it. We were going to take this thing all the way to the top. And we were exchanging hugs and tears and everything, and it really is. It's really happening. And it can happen for anybody. That's what I love about it is, I used to be in a business where I had employees, and you know, they were working for a weekly paycheck. Well, now I got 400 not employees but partners that have a vested interest in everything that they do every day. And they're out there making themselves money, but at the same time making me money. And we're all a team. And that's something else I found through Javita is not just a financial turnaround for my life, to be able to move back into a beautiful home and have cars and money and freedom again, but I found true friends, people that we'll be friends with for years and years and years to come. Mentors in this business. Bill and Don Ball have not only become our mentors, but our best friends, my wife and I's best friends. Stephanie and so many more in this room. And I just would, if you're looking at this for the first time, I can tell you you can do it. Because if we did it, anybody can do it. So that's it.
Man, when you can help people like that, guys, I mean, this opportunity has been helping so many people. So thank you so much for sharing that, Blake. I really appreciate you. We feel your heart. Thank you so much. Amen. We love that.